evening, good afternoon, and welcome to today's Fiberific live craft and chat. I have had one of those weeks where I didn't realize yesterday was Wednesday, and I'm talking about, well, on Wednesday I'm going to do this, and my daughter looks at me and goes, today's Wednesday. I was like, I thought today was Monday. So somewhere along the lines, I've lost some days. I don't think they're ever coming back. So let's just go with today's Thursday. It is here in Australia, it is Australia Day. So, you know, there's a lot of politics around that day. We're not going to be discussing that today. But so it's a public holiday. So we might notice a few more Aussies in the chat today. They may or may not be at work. They could be nabbing up that extra holiday pay by working the public holiday. But if not, welcome and hello. And it's so good to see you here in the chat. Now, I've just realized something. I have not gone to the screen that helps me work out if the live stream's working. So if you can say hello in the chat while I try and get this screen open, that would be awesome. Let's have a squizzy McSquizzes here. Sally has been a member for 15 months. Hello, Sally. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's the other thing. The green membership messages, if I don't have this other screen open, I don't see them. So I need the screen open. So let's get it open. All right. Everyone can see, and the audio might be a bit better now that the microphone's not facing the other side of the house. I'm such a pro. Okay, is the audio better? Someone's like, yeah, it's Tinny here. Yeah, sorry about that. I had the microphone over there, which is where it sits when I'm just using my desk. So, sorry. It's all I can say. It's better. It's so much better. It's amazing what having the equipment facing the right direction can do. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. No, I've actually recorded an entire podcast with the microphone in the wrong direction. So that's awesome. Leanne says, good morning to Chantelle, fellow mods, live typers, lurkers, and replay watchers. We appreciate you all. We absolutely do. Thank you for writing that message, Leanne. Let's have a look here. Sal saying that the video is chopping in and out a bit. Is that happening for anybody else? I'm not seeing it on my end, but I am trying something extra in the background. So let me know if it's a bit choppy for anybody else. And I think I can stop. I'm trying to do a local recording at the same time because, you know, I've got to test all the functionalities of these softwares to make sure that they all do what they need to do. Okay. So first things first, it has been it's been a week. It's been a total week. And I have done no crochet since last weekend. I ended up with like a pretty, I don't know if you guys can see that mark there. That was hot and red. So I am all right, I'm gonna see if I can stop that. All right, I'm gonna see if I can stop the local recording. Hang on one second. I don't know if I can actually. Edit. I can edit that. I can. It's going to YouTube. Recording. It is not letting me stop that. It's not. Why won't it let me? I can end the broadcast. I can remove it from YouTube, but I cannot stop live recording. That is dumb. All right. So you guys have to let me know. Is it enough that I need to actually stop and restart? Or can we keep going? Because it is not going to let me just stop the local recording, which is frustrating, I have to say. It's a bit laggy, a bit chuggy, video's a bit glitchy. If you guys drop down to 720, is that okay for you? Keep going. Sally says it's okay. Francis says it's okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's note to self. I don't do local recording because I'm using different software. I'm using all different things on the back end here. So Maybe I tried to do too many things at once, you know, like none of us have ever done that before. The sound is fine. Keep going. Okay. All right. I'm just going to see if there's got to be a way to stop the recordings. Hang on. Okay, let's see. No, doesn't appear to be. Nope, it doesn't seem to have that as an option. That's awesome. Okay, we'll just keep going. Josephine's already on 720. Sally's on 1080. Good morning from Amelia. Love a public holiday on a Thursday to Crafty and chat. Sounds okay to me. Okay, all right. Well, we're just going to keep going. I'm just going to double check I've got everything closed. I might have a few things open here that I didn't realize were open. So I'm going to see if I can quit some stuff that may or may not make any difference whatsoever. Okay. All righty. So, I mean, right now I'm working on Crochet with Claire's beautiful face scrubbies. Abby has basically taken all my face scrubbies. So, you know, I mean, who didn't think that was going to happen in all reality? That's just not very focused. There we go. That's a bit better. So yeah, I do have a link in the description for Claire's face scrubby video. I do have it also on my iPad because it's been a little while since I've made one. So I've realized I might have to mute that while I work out what she does for the third row. Because off the top of my head, I can't remember. And I probably should have, you know, checked some stuff before we went ahead with the live. So what are you all doing? Like, it's a public holiday here in Australia. So there's some of you who might be up to some fun stuff later on after the live stream finishes. I'm having a chill day. I'm just like trying to catch up to the fact that I've lost a week. And go from there. I had exercise physiologist appointment yesterday and we did some work on the arms. So my arms are a bit sore today. They're not too bad. They're functioning. So that's a bonus. We've done a leg day where I couldn't move the next 2 days. So, you know, awesome. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. So someone asked earlier, who was that? I think it was Kathy, who had asked earlier if I had finished my fireside blanket. The answer is no. No, I haven't finished my fireside blanket. In saying that, I'm up to the last row of squares. So I've really jumped ahead on it, but I have not even done this week's. This is the first crochet I've done since Saturday. Because I ended up like with that, like I was saying before, you can probably see it a bit here. I got like the big, you know, the big ouchy red burn thing that some of us get on our arm when we crochet. Well, I got a really big hot red one on this one and even a little one on this one. So that was annoying. But I did get to the point where my dad could see, because my dad popped in for a visit. So I got to the point where dad could see that he's going to love the blanket and he is very keen to know when it will be ready for postage. So I've still got eight or nine, I think it's nine little squares left to go. All the ends are being woven in as I go. So there'll be no more ends except for the 9 that I haven't done. And then it is, I think 22 rounds of crochet around the outside. Yeah. So let's have a look at fireside, not five side. You're quite right. Josephine says, if I weren't watching the live stream, I'd be weaving some fabric to make library bags for my grandsons. I've already missed the back to school deadline. Whoops. Craft day, cutting fabric, sewing for patchwork, crochet, knitting socks. You have got, like, you guys are on fire. I love people who are like, oh, I've got a day off my usual, so I'm going to craft the crap out of it. So I love that because that's what I like to do on my days off. It's fireside. I'm spinning up my first ever entry for the Royal Easter Show then I'm off for a swim. I don't know about the other states, but in Queensland, like where I am, it is stinking hot today. We have the air conditioning going hard today. Kelly says to Josephine, she'd love to see the photos of the fabric in the fun zone. And so would I. When you're ready to share, I would love to see that. If you don't know what we're talking about, Fiberific has a Facebook group called the Fiberific Fun Zone, where you guys can share what you're doing and ask questions and cheer each other on. And I love it. So definitely get in there and check that out. It's free to join, but you do have to answer some very hard-hitting questions to get in. Very difficult. Things like, do you like yarn? It's very hard. It's very hard. Casey says, I'm knitting my cardigan patterned by Tori Yu and hopefully going for a swim this afternoon. And your cardigan is looking fantastic, I have to say. Jackie is knitting a Death Star. Hello, I need pics. I need pics of that, Jackie. I need to see that. Continuing to knit my effortless cardigan. I thought that was going to be something else. But like my brain tried to shift the words around in that sentence. We're not going to say what my brain said. Josephine says, it's a bit dodgy looking, Kelly, but I'll put some up later. My first try at clasped weave. Excellent. I like that you're trying some new stuff. Stinky here for Francis as well with no aircon. Yuck. Josephine and Sal have both dumped a link for the fun zone. So if you are not a member over there, jump in. There's always someone in there willing to have a chat and give an opinion and just be encouraging and kind. I love it over there. Leanne says, I've just shut up the house and put on the aircon. She is warm out there. It definitely one of the things that I have learned over the years of having air conditioning is that waiting until it's like really hot means that my air conditioner has to work harder, therefore it costs me more money to run it. Whereas if I turn it on at like if I look at the weather and go, it is going to be like 30 degrees out, which is very hot. I can't cope with 30. So 30 or plus, or like 28 or 29 with high humidity. If it looks like it's going to be that kind of day, I shut everything up and put it on early so that it can kind of wisp in rather than have to like a grrr to try and cool everything down. And then if I go outside and go, actually, you know what, it's not that bad, then I can turn it all off and it hasn't chewed through the power too much. So that's what I do. You don't have to do that. Kathy has shared her Claire's Easy Mosaic blanket on the Fun Zone. That is awesome. Can't wait to see it. Holly is out and about, but once she gets home, I'll work on my crocheted chevron blanket. Nice. You guys are working hard. You guys are going well. Sally has also shared today's live link. Thank you, Sally. And if you have anything to share, to pop it under that link. Yeah, it just makes it easier. Like, especially if we like talk about something like specific in the live chat today, like, random, what's your favorite biscuit? Like, I do have favorite biscuits, FYI. I should probably have had breakfast before I started the live stream. I've just realized I'm a bit hungry and I don't know if talking about food's a good idea. Anyway, it is very different. So to realize that in exactly the moment when you mentioned a biscuit, my tummy just went, biscuits? So no biscuits. Anyway, Emma Langdon has done a little bit of cleaning this morning, ready for my dad's visit, and now I'm crocheting my granny strip blanket by Attic 24. Well, I want to get some of these Crochet with Claire scrubbies done, but also I definitely want to sit down and try and get as much of the next what do you call that? I mean, I'm just inventing the third round here. I hope it's right. It feels right. But basically, I want to get the next section of my Spring Frost cowl from Attic 24 done. Oops, I'm not even following my own invented pattern. How clever am I? But I don't know if I'm going to get it done. My goal for Spring Frost is to finish it like in time for the cal, and I know that she gives an extra week for like weaving in ends and catching up and all that sort of stuff. So I'm hoping that I don't need to use the whole week for that, like just for catching up for today, just in case I have another shocker next week. So I'd like to at least get halfway through this particular it's not a hint, this section of the project before before the next one comes out and I start feeling overwhelmed and be all like, oh, I'm never going to finish it. It's going to go the way of the queen. I'm so worried about it turning into the queen, where it's like, oh, look, I'll just get that finished in 2 years. But my goal is to really get this done at the same time, like during the cal. Like I want to get it done. So this is, I quite often sideline my own projects and then never get them finished in time. Some of them just never get finished. And I don't want this to be one of them. I'm really enjoying knowing that I'm keeping up. So I need to get back to keeping up. All right, let's have a look here in the chat again. Emma says it's nice here down in Taz. I would hope so. Knit Spin Girls is knitting a handspun beanie while watching the live. Later, I'm going to finish off spinning the last 2 breed study samples. Okay. Kelly Poll has a question for the live. Kelly, let us read your question. Can I mix yarn weights in Fair Isle? I read a post in Tin Can Knits that says they do. I was surprised. What are your thoughts and experience? Okay, so my personal thoughts of experience, please put your opinions in the chat. I would love to read them. My personal experience has not been awesome. I've only done a small amount of Fair Isle. I would not consider myself an avid Fair Isle knitter. But in the instances where I've used either like differing weights of yarn, and sometimes like I tried to do a Fair Isle sweater where I had 2 different brands of DK. They had similar meterage, but they were just different enough that it actually pulled and puckered, which made me sad and I never finished it. So in that has been my experience. But if you are prepared for it and you're allowing for it, see, whereas I was not prepared for the difference, I can imagine it would work. So I would definitely have a look, see if Tin Can Knits looks more into that. I would also be looking at other Fair Isle knitters and seeing what they say. I personally am not a very good Fair Isle knitter. I enjoy the process, but what I make doesn't always work out. So I'm probably not the person to talk to about it. So yeah, definitely check in with some of the other Fair Isle knitters and post that question over in the group as well. I know there's some beautiful Fair Isle knitters in our group, but I personally have not had success with different yarn weights in the same project. So my assumption of the question is that you are making, say, a beanie and you've got some 4-ply and some 8-ply and some 5-ply and whatever, and you're mixing the weights in the one project, not that you have decided to go, I'm going to change this pattern and do it all in 4-ply when the pattern says 8-ply. So that's where I'm going with that. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm heading. So I would love to hear anybody else's experiences that you've had with this, for sure. I'm just double checking that all the softwares are closed. Put life in timeout for those time slots you set up for the cal. Look, yeah, and that was the plan originally, was to actually sit down and have crafting time to do the stuff. But I had a weird week is what it boiled down to. And then because I crocheted like a crazy person to try and get some more done on the fireside, I think I hurt myself just a little. So I needed to have a break from, injuring myself more and letting this sort of arm thing calm down a little. It was very hot, very red, very uncomfortable. Caroline McMahon's asking, what yarn are you using for the scrubbies? I've got a few different yarns here, and I've made the scrubbies in a few different things, but right now I'm using a Bendigo Woolen Mills 8-ply, and I'm using a 4mm hook. I also have, I think it's Flinders cotton from Spotlight. I've made a lot with this. I really like those, but I've got this in a few different colors in the Bendigo 8-ply, because, you know, Abby wanted purple, dark blue, and white. But then I also need some more. So, yeah. Knitspin Girl says, I'm assuming this is in relation to the Fair question. I can see how a slightly heavier contrast color would pop more. So can I. I could totally see it working if you're planning for it, like if you are understanding how it works. But if you don't understand how it works and you aren't planning for it, I'm also like the exact reason why it doesn't work. I didn't plan for it. I didn't allow for it. So let me just join that there. That is done. Do I have scissors? Is the question of the day. Yes, I do. Look at that. Scissors. Number 1 is finished. We'll weave in the ends on this little sucker. That's just really not doing us any good. I'm gonna do something very dramatic. Are we all ready? I'm gonna change camera sources. I'm very much not happy with what we have. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to end the stream, but it may lighten the load on the stream. And because I'm not happy with how blurry this looks. It's so blurry. Anyway, okay, we're going to do some stuff. Are we all ready, everyone? Close your eyes. It's magic time. So we want to go to settings. We want to change over to that one. Will it let me? It will, but I need to bring this in. You guys are seeing all the sneaky background mess. Okay. Alrighty. And now I would like to shut this down. Exit. Quit eCam. Okay. Now we've got to bring in the other camera. Extra camera. That one. Share it. Go like that, and then add the stream, and that's what we've got. It's not awesome still, but it's best. It's better, I think. Yeah, because when I bring it up, you can at least see what I'm doing. Okay. Alrighty. Let's have a look here. I'm a beginner at Farrell. I mainly have DK, but one main contrast is in Aran. These stitches are already get bigger since I am new. I think if I was more experienced, I could, but I might hold off for now. It's definitely worth a try. What could possibly go wrong? Yes. I would look, you could trial a couple of rows and see how it goes, because it's not a huge jump from Aran to DK. I mean, obviously it depends on the Aran and it depends on your DK, but it could work. It could totally work. Yeah. But yes, what could possibly go wrong? I mean, we could have lost the stream. That's what could have gone wrong. So let me know if that is better on your end as well. If that fixed the, I mean, there's still one process running in the background that I can't stop. So, you know, we'll just have to suck that up. And know about it in the future, because that's actually really annoying. That is worse for the camera. Is it? From Jancy. Hello, Jancy. I don't know if it is. Okay, let's trim that. Yeah, I can't zoom it in the way I had the other one zoomed in. So you get to see a bit more of like my desk, but the actual image itself is clearer. I think it'll also look better when I'm not working on dark blue, on a dark background, which I didn't consider a bit stupid of me. I should have considered. I'll work on the white one next and we'll see if that helps. So yeah, we've been having a problem. So basically since I had to upgrade my computer, this webcam, I can't install its controller software, which means I can't get it to focus properly and I can't get it to do what I want it to do, like it's done for the last 11 billion years. And it's annoying me, honestly, that I can't. I've even tried contacting the company and they're like, oh yeah, we don't support that new thing. And I'm like, really? That new thing that however many people in the world are using right now. There we go. First one is done. All right, let's go with the white next. We'll see if that makes a difference for you all. It'd still be a bit blurry. Freaky says the only thing that could go wrong is never trying. I mean, and that's something to remember, isn't it? You don't win if you like you definitely can't win if you don't try. So yeah. I'm with Amelia. Pop in a lifeline and give it a go. Definitely. You will either like it or you won't like it. And if you don't like it, then you can go back and either tinker back or frog back or whatever it is that you want to do. I mean, you're a Xiaogu user. You could totally just leave a cable in there, like a whole cable with the stitches on the cable, and just go forward. Use the cable as your lifeline. Definitely. Oh, everyone, what's in your cup today? I've got currently right now it's just honey and water, but it's about to become tea too, because it's getting cold. So licorice legs T2 is what I'll be adding into my cup very shortly. It helps me not get a raspy voice, which I have a raspy voice today. So, oh, come on. I don't know if I've got the right glasses on. Do you guys have like multiple pairs of glasses and you're like, are these the right glasses for this job? So, yeah. Good morning. Apologies for being late. Artsog is sick, so it won't be on my fault. I forgot to check ingredients on a drink yesterday. Oh, you've poisoned Artsog is what you're saying. All right. Fair enough. Well, I hope he starts to feel better soon, and I'm very happy that you could make it in anyway. But wow, that's all I can say. It's awkward when there's things that we ingest that make us unwell that everybody else can cope with. I hope that me whacking the microphone with my hook is not bothering anybody else as much as it's bothering me. Okay, Sal's got the usual in her cup, which is air. Good job, Sal. No cup for Leanne, so she needs to fix that. Jancy says, I love public holidays, so I've made it to a live. It's been so long. Working Thursdays should be banned. I am so glad you made it, Jancy. It has been ages. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It is, and you know what? I nearly didn't do a live today. I was like, oh, should I? Shouldn't I? You know, and then I was like, you know what? Our American audience don't have a public holiday, and our Australian audience, if they want to be around, they can be around, whereas sometimes they don't have a choice. So I'm really glad I made the decision to go live today. So thank you. Oh no, Rebecca's glasses have been broken by a cat. Pets and glasses. I've actually got my other reading glasses, which I actually just moved out, have got all the little arms gnawed, like they're all crunched and chewed up, which is why I had to get these, because Louis found them. Turns out Louis loves glasses too. Abby's had to get, I think she's had to get 2 pairs replaced. Louis just chews on the arms. He doesn't do any damage to this section, but just eats the arms right off. It's terrible. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So in Claire's video, she says to do 14, like she does 14, but you can do really whatever you want as long as it closes up nicely. That's a bit, you know, glaring. But yeah. Josephine has finished my vanilla Pepsi Max and she's sad. I'm not a Pepsi fan. I don't mind a vanilla Coke on occasion. When I'm doing a lot of driving, about the only time I have Coke in a year is when I was doing the big drive down to Bendigo on the second day of my driving, because it's a 2-day drive. I would grab a Coke with my lunch. And sometimes if they had like a vanilla Coke that wasn't like zero sugar, because I don't do zero sugar soft drinks. If I'm going to have a soft drink, it's going to have sugar in it. I don't have soft drinks very often, so give me the full strength ones when I do. Francis says, I'm glad you did the live today. I was feeling lonely as my husband is working. Oh, well, I'm glad we're here. I'm super glad for all those people that are who couldn't normally have made it and then, made it. That's awesome. Amelia is Twinings Earl Grey to start the live today. That is nice. I am a Twinings girl myself as well. Like, I have my fancy teas that I like and I definitely drink, but I get a Twinings Lady Grey. It's the light blue box. And they are the stock standard tea bags in my tea caddy next to the kettle. Does anybody else have that? Or is this like an Aussie thing where you have the kettle on the bench, your tea, your coffee? And so, yeah, it's definitely one of the things. Kelly says that if you had a 3D printer, you might have been able to print replacement arms. Oh, that's a good point. I don't have a 3D printer. But we have an excellent optometrist who, with Abby's last lot of glasses, we had the additional problem of Louie had just munched her glasses that she needs for driving. She was like 4 days before she went to Melbourne, I think it was. So she had no glasses. So they were actually able to find another frame that fits the shape of her lens and was able to pop the lens out of her and put in the lens into the new frames. Now, admittedly, they're not Abby's favorite frames, and she's actually reminded me yesterday that she wants to go back to the optometrist and get order in a new set of frames. But yes, it was they went above and beyond. It was awesome. Kathy's got hot cocoa. Hey Lisby, welcome to the chat. So yes, it is definitely hot here in Queensland. Look, it's hot and I still went for a hot drink, and I was looking at my cold brew in the fridge, and then I sort of sat there and I'm like, when did I make that? I can't remember when I made it. So it was a few days ago, but I can't remember if it was, a few enough days ago that I'm going to risk drinking it, because I'm that person that if something's going to make someone sick, it'll be me. So I'm going to tip that out this afternoon and make up a new batch. There's not much of it left, but it does still feel like a waste. Lisby said, got my Barry's tea. Excellent. Cheaper to keep it out of Louis' reach. Oh, that is true. Absolutely. Rebecca says, I hate driving without my glasses. It's illegal for me to drive without mine. It's actually, I don't know what the licenses are like in the US. I know it could be different, but in Australia, if you have spectacles for distance vision, and I think it's particularly for distance vision, if you're caught driving without your glasses or can't prove that you're wearing contacts, then you are technically driving in violation to your license, and you will get a big fat ticket, and they won't let you drive home either. So we have to, if our licenses have like a condition on them, like I think it's condition S for spectacles, I don't know, that we have to have our glasses on when we're driving if we get pulled over. It's very weird, but and Leanne's right, but when we have to get our license photos taken, we have to take our glasses off. So yeah, whereas I think you used to have your glasses on. It was like an extra way to show that you had spectacles, but now you've actually got to take them off because they're using the photos. I don't know what they're using them for, but it's like they can make sure that, you know, they can use your ID across. You have to get those special, like it's like a passport photo. You basically have to have basically your prison photos, because I don't know about you guys, but my passport photos always look like I'm just getting out of prison. So yeah, no matter how much I try to make it not look like I've just come out of prison, I always look like I'm getting out of prison. Jackie says hers is marked on the back of a license. Yep. I don't have my license handy, so I can't check it, but I think it is. Yeah. Oh, Lisby is training a new support worker. Always problematic. It is. It is. It is. But it'll balance out. I hope. Excuse me. I hope it balances out, and then eventually they get all trained up. Jackie, I'm assuming you're talking about the cold brew in the fridge. Yes, it has no milk in it, and it probably is fine. But I'm still not going there. Yeah. Casey's talking about for working with children cars. Do you have to have your glasses off for those as well? Lisby says, I've got a V on my license to state I can only drive with hand controls. Oh, there you go. So if you're busted in a non-hand controlled vehicle, you're toast as well. My dad says if you resemble your passport photo, you must be too ill to travel. Oh, I love that. Because they're just so horrid. They're so horrid. Does anybody here have a passport or license photo that they actually look good in? Like, I would like to know if it is just me. Because I do look like death warmed over in all my like licenses and stuff like that. Lisby says I'd be toast anyway. Fair enough. Fair enough. Like if you've got to drive with hand controls, there's probably a reason for it. I think it's also some of the modern lenses reflect the light badly. Yeah, I actually think it's got more to do with what they're using the license photos for. It's like with the passport photos, they've got to be able to run them through digitally and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't 100% know, but I'm assuming they use your license photos for more stuff. And maybe, just maybe, if you end up at a police station for whatever reason of being bad, and you do look like crap, then maybe your crappy license photo helps them go, yes, this is that person. But if in your license photo you're all glammed out, then it would not be that way. And I've just gotten to the end of my circle to realize that I have botched up the count somewhere. So I've just got to just give me a little second while I go through and double check where I screwed it up. And it could be somewhere as simple as the row before. There it is. Look, over there. I screwed it up there. Pull it back. Okay, so it's 2, then 1, and then 2. 2 comes after 1. Chantelle, with counting. Please let me know I'm not alone in that screwing up the counting thing. And has me changing what I did here made the signal any better for you guys on your end? I know it's a different view. I understand that it's, you know, it's not the same, but is it a better quality of experience for you? Is it as glitchy? Is what I'm trying to say. Is it as glitchy? Lisby, right now I am making Crochet with Claire's face scrubbies. I did check with Claire this morning to double check I was allowed to do these on stream today, and she has said yes. I have dropped a link in the description below. I am currently using the Bendigo 8-ply cotton in snow to get a nice white one. So we'll see how that goes. I have a proof of age card that was taken when I was 18. I'm now in my 40s. I look like a ghost in it. And because they don't expire, I'm stuck with it unless I go and get another one. But I'm lazy. Oh, man. I would totally be getting another proof of age card done. That one's like, they may not believe it's you. I mean, they'll possibly believe that you're over 18, but they may not believe that it's your 18 plus card. Good morning and evening to you, Ruth. Welcome to the chat. What are they for? Okay, so these are face scrubbies. So multiple use case scenario. You can use them for makeup removal, giving your face a nice scrub in the shower. They're beautiful cotton. I also use mine for coasters. So they're a good size for coasters. I've got a couple that I've made over here on the other side. I've got that one that I made from that pattern that was a terrible pattern with the thicker cotton there that I've used. But Abby has requested these ones, my daughter Abby, and she puts them in the cup holders of her car so that it doesn't rattle and things don't make noise. So yeah, so she's popped a couple in my car and I kind of get it now. I was originally like, why? But they do make a difference. So she just slides these into the cup holders of her car, and they're awesome for that. So she has requested some more so that she can return the one she stole off me because they're the wrong colors. And she wanted the dark blue, the purple, and the white, but she didn't specify which purple. Oh, I think I made that tail a bit short. Get back in the needle, you. That's not going to work. I've got to go with the other hand. Good morning, Chantelle. Yeah, counting can be a problem. Yeah, for me especially. You're working with snow during summer. Yes, I am. I'm like hoping for that, you know, when you watch those really cold movies and you sort of sit there and you realize you're getting a bit chilly, even though it's like 30 degrees out. I'm hoping for that kind of mental game to happen. Joss is lurking quietly, trying to decide what to crochet. It's a bit hot. Yeah, it is. So we've got the aircon on in the house, but because the whole family's home, it's a public holiday. I've got to have the door closed, so I've got no aircon in this room. I've got the fan blowing on me. I tried to suck in as much aircon air as I possibly could before I went live, but it's starting to warm up now. It's getting toasty. But yes, I totally get it. Joss doesn't live too far from me, and it's stinking hot here today. Hey Chintamani, it's good to see you here in the chat. It's good to see you. Let's go. Weaving in. Freaky says, not saying much due to the new keyboard. It's annoying. Yeah, look, you know, it takes me a bit to adjust to new keyboards and new mices. I don't know. I hate mices to pieces. But yeah, there's an adjustment period. Look, I got, which mouse is it? This one. And I was assuming because like this is a Logitech MX Anywhere mouse. This is an MX Keys keyboard. It is silent. I love it. And it doesn't make any of the clickety noises. I know some people love clickety noises on their keyboard. I am not one of those people. So we've got the white and the blue. But yeah, so it's definitely a personal preference as to what you like your keyboard and your mouse to. But this clicks. When you actually tap the mouse, it goes click, 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 and I hate it. So I've recently just bought this. It's a trackpad. It's an Apple trackpad because I'm on a Mac now. And I'm loving that. That thing's like surprisingly amazing. Now, I probably wouldn't have bought it if I had to pay full price for it. So, you know, don't have a heart attack when you see it. But I had a gift voucher to use up at an Apple store. And so I paid like out of pocket like $20 rather than 180 or whatever stupid price it was going to be. But I actually, now that I've used it, I'm like, would I have paid 180 for it now that I know how awesome it is? And the answer is I don't know. It's not a hard no anymore. It was like no way am I spending that kind of money on that. Like, nah. In saying that, I'll spend $100 on a solid mouse. You know, like if it's going to make my life easier and it works and I don't need to have a Bluetooth dongle spot for it. And I can charge it. Like this one can be charged with a USB-C cord. I don't need to find batteries for it. Like there's all these good things, but it just comes down to what you like to spend your money on. For me, I love spending money on tech, so I'm okay with that. Enigmata's in the chat. Hello, it's good to see you. Deb D is cleaning the kitchen or clean the kitchen. I'm not sure what that one is, Deb. Are you cleaning the kitchen, or is the kitchen not, or you need to clean? I don't know. Bub says, hi to everyone dropping in from time to time. My internet is nearly finished and I still have 5 days left of the month. Oh no. Oh, I really feel for you. I used to hate so much because I have unlimited internet now. So, but I didn't always, and we would quite often get to that point where at the end of the month you're out of internet, and they're like, you know, they don't cut you off, but they make it so slow you can't do anything, and you're just like, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. I need one more. And it's good to see you. I agree with spending your hard-earned money on what gives you pleasure. Absolutely. If you want to buy yarn, buy yarn. If you want to buy tech, buy tech. You know, like it's your money and you get to decide outside of bills and commitments, the spare money I'm talking about. You get to decide where your fun money goes. Fun money. I mean, do we still call it fun money in this day and age? I don't even know. I do. Things that give me like it's, and that's the thing. It's yours. I don't get to judge you. Like, you know, I think it's time to top my tea up with the T2 tea. Leanne's stressing out about the thumbs up numbers. What's happening with the thumbs up numbers, Leanne? Why are they uneven? Let me look here. I'm just gonna look. Oh, okay. I see the problem. I understand the comment now. I'm like, what's wrong with the thumbs ups? Discretionary that's it, Kerry. That's it. Discretionary spending. Totally. Yes. And if you're a person who loves to travel, if you're a person who loves to go to a concert, like you get to decide. I love the idea of concerts. I don't like traveling to and from them, if that makes sense. Amelia says cost of a mouse can be more. Oh, agreed. There are some, like, I've got this is a mid-range price mouse. I think it was like 99, and that's a mid-range price mouse. Okay. And my keyboard, let me think about how much that's also a mid to low highs, but mid to high range ish price keyboard. But there are some advantages to both of them, right? Because I have my Mac, I have my iPad, and I have my Windows laptop that I've used for years. I can switch these guys. Can you see that little light? I can switch it. Number 1, it'll work for my Windows laptop, and number 3, it'll work on my iPad. And the same here. 1, you can't see it, it's out of camera. 1, 2, and 3. And with the simplicity of hitting that button, it starts working on the other device because I've set it up. And that's what I love about them. That's one of the things that I love about these particular things, is they can be used across multiple devices. Enigmata. So how is life after the Queen? That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. It's been a little weird having to think of projects to work on and get approval from designers, and because I had approval from Tina to work on the Queen during my live streams, and you know, like working on smaller projects that I go through faster. So, you know, I've got my Laura Nelkin cowl, which is just tucked aside here, which Laura is amazing, and she's given me permission to work on it during live streams. It's definitely, I'm glad it's finished. But at the same time, knowing what project I was working on was also, I'm going to say, comforting to a degree. I mean, it got to the point where I was disappointed in myself and frustrated because of how long it took me. So I'm feeling, I'm feeling like I've had an achievement to get it finished. And now I'm trying to do what I originally wanted to do with the Queen, which is I've now got another project on the go, which you may or may not know. I'm working on the Spring Frost cowl from Addict 24, not during the live streams. She hasn't responded to any of my messages, so I can't work on it during the live streams until I have permission. I know that not everybody thinks that, and some people think if it's a free pattern they can just use it. I don't think like that. It is not my intellectual property, and I don't want to use something without express permission. So that's what's making it so I need to work on other projects. But I'm trying to keep up with it in the cowl. So my goal is to finish it in time with the cowl. So fingers are crossed, everybody. Fingers are crossed. Back to keyboard. Sal had the Circle of Doom. Was it just Sal? I didn't see one on my end, but that means nothing sometimes. Amelia got the live chat working this week, which is fantastic. I think it was a software update, possibly. My keyboard and mouse are not cheap, but it's ergonomic, and I type reports all day. Exactly. If you're on your keyboard all the time, you need something that is not going to destroy your body. And I know a lot of people are very happy with the little $30 Microsoft keyboards, and that is fine. And if that makes you happy and you can work on that, then do it. But if you're on your keyboard all day, like I am, and you need something a bit different, then you totally need to trial some others. Places like JB Hi-Fi and Best Buys and all those sorts of big box stores, they usually have everything out on a display, or at least a lot. And if they don't have it on a display, you can ask them, can I try this? And then you can just sit down at a chair. That quite often, like at JB Hi-Fi, they have got like gaming rigs set up. So you can actually get them to move a keyboard over to the gaming rig, and you can sit in a chair, get your height right, and just randomly type something and see if it works for you. But yeah, it's definitely something that you need to be trialing and testing, especially if you are going to be working on it all of the time. I learned many years ago when I started moving over to laptops instead of desktops, I could not work on a laptop keyboard all of the time. It was too that you've got to have your hands in the wrong positions to make it work. So I've been having a Bluetooth keyboard to my laptops for years. So I've been, testing and trialing for a long time. Game Widows is back. Casey here said that she also had the Circle of Doom. I don't know what's going on. You know what? My family could be hogging up my internet. Little stinkers. I bet they are. I bet they're out there watching something and not even thinking about it. So yeah. Enigmata says, you'll call a chiropractor at this point. I could almost work upside down, hanging off a balcony. No wonder my back screams each time I stand up. I mean, that's the thing. That's a real problem. I would definitely be looking at changing your setup. Chintamani says that she's had no Circle of Doom. I haven't seen one on my end. But as I said, that actually means nothing on my end. Well, I mean, I am bringing it in as a separate stream. So, I mean, technically it does mean something. Leanne says, my son Daniel is our tech guru and provides my hubby and I with the products, or at least advises us what will work with us. Yeah, and sometimes just trialing and testing the stuff will, is totally worth just trialing some stuff out. It's like crochet hooks, you guys. Like, I like the clover hooks. Not all of you do. And that's okay. Some of you like I like the clover and morse. Some of you like the clover poopy golds. Some of you like the what's another brand? Edamo hooks. Some of you like the Furls hooks. Like, There's nothing inherently wrong with any of these hooks. Again, I can't count. Let's just see what I've done here. But different hooks work for different people. Oh my gosh, I've got a total frog in my throat. Poopy golds for Chintamani. Yeah, there's a few of you that like the poopy golds. Oh, look at this. It's way back at the start. Oh, grr. So it's 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Oh my gosh. That is frustration station all the way back to the start of the round. Francis, poopy golds are the Clover soft touch hooks. Have a look at one. You tell me it's not poopy gold. Anyway, do I have one? I think I've got one handy. Hang on. No, I must have moved it. I had one in this basket the other day, but I've reshuffled my desk. So I must have moved it. But yeah, the Clover soft touches. Holly says, I'm currently trying to figure out what needles I like. Yeah, like, and that's the same thing. You've got, you know, you need to trial a few sets if you can. Francis, you know me. I rename stuff all of the time. Oh dear. Have you not heard us call it poopy gold before? That's gold. I like the Clover bamboo handles. It's the same shape as the poopy gold. Yeah, see? Leanne says, if my hands could hope, I really like the pointy end of the Knit Pro, but no handle on them, so poopy gold for me. Yeah. Like we've got a friend who loves those tulip red hooks. I've got one. I don't mind it. I use it when I need it because it's not horrible, but I find the squishy thing's just a little bit firm for me, but it's totally usable still, and I still use it. It's a totally fine hook. And that's the thing. There's nothing inherently wrong with these hooks or these keyboards or these mice or whatever. It's just different strokes for different folks. Enigmata says, I love tools. My favorite metal knitting needles are my Chowgoos, but my all-time favorite bamboo wooden is Sea Knit Kinky Amabari. I don't know about those. Can you pop a photo of those in the fun zone? That would be amazing to see, just to have a look at something different. Addy, the Addy toothbrushes don't work for me. Are you talking about those Addies with the curved handles that look like the white and the colors like our toothbrushes in Australia have? I don't know if other countries have their toothbrushes looking like that, but we do. Deb says she likes the tulip red or pinks and the Clover Amours. Yeah. Enigmata says, just about to place an order for no reason at all, except they're lovely. And there doesn't have to be a reason. Vampire says that she uses Boy most of the time, but picked up a cheap set of soft handle hooks from Kmart after watching Claire's review. They're great when my hands play up. Yeah, so I used to use Boy hooks only. I had a very complete set of Boy hooks, which I just love to pieces. But because I was doing crochet for work, I was working as a stitcher for a designer, I was having a problem and I couldn't grip anymore. And so I got the designer actually lent me one of her poopy golds, and it made the world of difference. And that's when I started trialing out a lot of these different kind of gripped hooks. Francis says, I'm a cheapskate. I usually just wrap masking tape around a cheap metal crochet hook. Francis, definitely check out the link. I don't know the video. There's a video, it's fairly recent, over on Claire's channel. She did a review of the cheap Kmart crochet hooks. And I'm hearing some really positive stuff about that. So yeah, definitely worth looking at. They're very inexpensive for an entire set. Was it like $14 or something for an entire set of hooks? And it could be like that happy ground, that happy middle ground for you, where you don't actually have to masking tape them anymore and you still get the cheap hooks. Rebecca says, my favorite hooks will always be Susan Bates. That is awesome. You know what you like and you get to use it. That is excellent. I can't do all the metal ones. I end up with small, sore red bumps on my fingers. Yeah, I do too now. I never used to. My fingers are definitely used to having a soft grip now, without a doubt. But I used to use them all the time. But yes, I always had like this hard, like it was not good. Oh, Vampire said it's like $8 for the set of hooks, like from Kmart. I mean, that is so good. That's so good. Yeah, Francis says, I saw Claire's vid and I'll be getting some. I keep totally meaning to grab a set because I just want to try them out for myself and compare them to the Clovers. I'm hearing such good things about them. And I know that not everybody can afford or want to spend their discretion or spending money on an $11 crochet hook. And if this sort of $8 set works as well, or even close, then I would love to have something else I could recommend that I've tried, but I haven't tried it yet. Lisby says I had to buy the higher sock needles. They're so pointy. Higher needles, and there's circulars as well, are especially pointy. I made myself bleed with some 2mm higher thick circulars. It's the only one I don't have the tag for. I have had it a long time. I don't know if they still make it. The camera is not necessarily picking up the exact color. It's pretty close, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a very nice purple. It's a very nice purple. Enigmata says, because like playing guitar, you need to build up the calluses. Yeah. I know that when I haven't played guitar for a few years, like at the moment, my calluses are gone. I actually need to restring my guitar. I was looking at it the other day. It needs some love, let me tell you. I'm seriously considering actually taking it to someone to get it serviced, because it hasn't had some love for a while. Because I couldn't play it at all when I was getting the fake nails done. I've seen ladies play with their fake nails. I could not play. I tried. I failed miserably. So I didn't play for a couple of years at all. I have an Art Lutherie 3/4 size steel string is what I have. It's a beautiful little guitar. I've got very small hands, so I needed a smaller guitar. Okay, number 3 is done. I've kind of pulled it out of shape, but it's number 3 is done. So they're the ones that Abby wanted, I think. But I am going to make one with this other purple that I have, just in case this was the purple she wanted. She didn't specify. I also have some different blue in a different cotton, because she just said dark blue. And I don't think I'd made a blue one in that blue. So I don't know if she's, anyway, I don't even know what I'm doing. All right. So that's what's happening. I've no idea what I'm doing. Welcome to my life. Okay. I've obviously frogged something. Oops, let's hide that one. Let me look here. I got my ukulele out while we were camping and my fingers ached. So out of practice. Yeah, it's a bit like that. My brothers came over for Christmas and were like, where's your guitar? And I was just like, it's in the case. And they're like, it's always out. Why is it not out? Because I've got a guitar stand as well. And because basically the only people that have played my guitar in the last few years is my brothers and my dad. So, yeah. Leanne says, Daniel has my guitar on his wall. I don't mind. I haven't played it for a few years. Yeah, it gets to a point, doesn't it? I have tried other string instruments. Hope one day to get a Japanese koto. Check out the Beatles playing Here Comes the Sun on a koto. It's so beautiful. Look, I've only played instrument-wise, guitar, ukulele, and piano.
I've tried some, because my dad and Abby, it's very frustrating, are those people that can pick up an instrument and play it. It doesn't matter what it is. Like Abby plays violin, piano, and flute. And when my dad sent her the flute, we're all like, because she's always done like ukulele, guitar, like all strings, right? And my dad sent her a flute for her birthday a few years back. He just found one secondhand somewhere and was like, just posted it to her randomly. And we're all looking at this flute like, what? Like, it was such a random present. It was so random. Anyway, so Abby has sat down and dug through YouTube, and then by the end of the day was actually playing songs on it. And we were just like, what the heck now? I mean, the flute ended up needing a bit of work. She did some lessons and now she just plays whatever she wants. So yeah. Enigmata, they're actually both not, which is kind of weird because a lot of people have told us that. But yeah, my dad had a really interesting childhood and was basically told not to bother going back to school in year 7. So he was a concrete labourer his whole life. So yeah, just the kind of lives that people have. Abby, I don't know. I just don't think she. I mean, you know what? She doesn't like science, but now she's moving into a scientific career. So we'll see. Let's put a pin in that one. We won't judge it yet. Francis says, I used to play all the time, was in a cover band, and also taught ukulele for many years. Yeah, Abby's one of these frustrating people that, you know, you can't do that. If you don't practice, you're not going to get it thing, because she wouldn't practice at all and then turn up to her music lesson and it would sound like she's practiced all week and you're just sort of sitting there like grumpy, like, because you're kind of expecting the teacher to pick up on it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. We do have a retreat coming up in August for the Fiberific retreat. If you want me to send you a form, DM me on socials and I will get it to you, or email me is it info at fiberific.com. No, sales at fiberific.com.au. And I'll get that form to you. I meant to send it out to everyone on my email list last Friday, but as I said, I've lost a few days, so I'm a little behind, but we'll get there. But it's a Friday through to Sunday retreat. All accommodation and food is included. It's a little ways from the airport, so you will, if you've got to fly up, you'll need to organise transport yourself from the airport out to the venue. It's beautiful. Leonie looks after us so well. The venue's called Stacey's at the Gap, so you can check it out. And we have the whole venue to ourselves. So we have a hall and a little dining room, and everyone gets like a really big table, like a 6-foot table each to sit at and work at, but it's very limited numbers. This year we're only having sort of 16 to 17 people. So if you don't get in soon and pay your deposit ASAP, then you may miss out. But I'll get all that into a newsletter out soon. I'm not going to guarantee when now. But if you are in the live stream and you are in Australia and you want to come, send me a DM and I'll get you all the information so you can make a decision. 6, 8, 10. And no, I'm not taking my guitar to retreat. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not taking my guitar to retreat. Yeah. It would be very, very uncomfortable for me. It's not something I do in front of people. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh, did I count that one? I probably did. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. I did count it because I'm an idiot. Game Winner says the most torturous job I ever had was teaching kids recorder. At Abby's school, the kids' first instrument that they learnt was little glockenspiels or xylophones, little xylophones. And that was awesome. Yeah, my dad sort of grew up in an interesting time and in an interesting place. And so they really didn't put any in their mind, there was no reason to teach this boy anything. So, yeah. Knitspin Girl says, I played flute and penny whistle all through primary and high school. Haven't played for years. I'll pick it up, horrify myself, and then pack it away again. Oh, dear. I kind of do that every now and again. Abby still has her recorder. Abby's granddad on my husband's side also gave her his recorder from school. So she's got a beautiful wooden, I think it's a tenor recorder. So that one sounds amazing. And then my dad gave her it looks like a recorder, but it's got some sort of different thing on the top of it. So it makes it sound more like, like the snake catcher music. It sounds like she's playing that. I have no idea what it's called. I have no ideas whatsoever, but it sounds really cool and she has fun with it. So, that's that. She has fun. Sally still has her recorder. Francis says, I teach recorder to year 2 a term every year. Francis, parents everywhere are cursing your name. Sending that recorder home. So, yeah. I could probably go and grab it and just show it to you. So I have no idea what it's called. But I'm not going to blow into it because I don't know how my mic will go with such a noise. But if you just want me to go and grab it, I can grab it. I think I know where it is. It should be on top of the piano. Off the top of my head, it should be on top of the piano. Francis says, I don't take it home till the end of term when they can actually play. See, that's much nicer. That's much nicer. Like our music teacher, I think that she felt that she was being tortured, so therefore everybody else should be tortured, and she sent home homework. So they had to practice. Now, luckily, I have Abby for a daughter who tends not to make instruments sound horrible unless she's doing it intentionally, which she does, because while she is, exceptional at music, she is also evil. So, exceptional and evil together is not awesome. Grab it. All right, hang on. I'll pop my Be Right Back screen up. You guys, anyone new comes in, you let them know what's going on. All right, I'll be back in a second. I'm back. So this is it. This is the thing. And I don't know how to make a sound. Does it have it? It's like a recorder. Anyway, that's it. I don't know what it's called. Abby makes it sound good. So, yeah. It looks very pretty. It's very unusual, but my dad found it for her and went, send that to Abby. On the back, it's got different holes as well. It's got, rather than that one, it's got these ones. I suppose that's like the pinky holes off the front of a recorder, isn't it? So it's I like how it sounds. Oh, sorry, Gamer Widows. Was that very loud for you guys? I didn't mean for it to be very loud, but it feels like it's a piece of bamboo that's got like, and it's not open on the end. There it is. It's actually got like it's fully enclosed on the end there. So it's yeah, I don't know what it is. But there you go. It does. It has a very nice sound. Yeah, it does have a very similar sound to a clarinet, doesn't it? No idea. And can't clean it. So heaven knows what I've just blown into. But anyway, we'll pop that aside. I'll pop that safe there and I'll keep crocheting. But no, it's fine. Oh, good. I'm glad I didn't deafen you. Like a mega flute with a hand mixer attachment. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. No idea how to describe it. Abby might know what it's called. My dad may have told her. I don't know what it's called though. Hide that. That's sitting there. That's why there's back holes. Yeah, yeah, that would be why there's so many back holes, is so some sound can come out. That makes sense. Yes, it does. I went out into the to go and get it, right? And someone out there has cooked bacon, which smells amazing. And then they're yelling at me because like they're like, "Are you still live streaming?" I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Get back in there then." Like, okay, all right, I'm just grabbing a thing. What tea? I'm drinking the T2 Tealicious with some honey in it. I never usually add, for years I didn't add honey to it. And then during, I think it was the last Big Wool show, I was having particular concerns with my vocal cords were being, buttocks. And so I was like, okay, let's do all the things. We'll do all the things to stop it from, playing up. So I was just having honey and water and just honey. And then I was like, I need something with a bit more flavor to it. So I had the honey with the tea. And now I really like the honey with the tea. Because I don't add sugar to my tea or coffee usually. So adding the honey felt really, really weird. Oh, look, I knew I'd done it again. There it is there. But at least I picked it up straight away, right? Now, I'm not sure if this because I only got part the way through the pattern rerun, like refresher, before I had to go live. So I'm actually just having a stab in the dark guess at what the third round is. So this may not be Claire's third round. So, it could be just easily 2 stitches in each round, which would make life so much easier. If that's what it was. But as all of my other ones have been stolen, I don't even have one handy to check. So yes. Depending on the tea, I love having it with honey and fresh mint leaves. We tried to grow mint, but because we didn't want the mint, free ranging it in our gardens, we put it in a pot and then we forgot about it and we didn't water it. And it didn't like that. It was sad and it died. I mean, every now and again, because the pot's still there, but every now and again, I'll notice some green come through in it. And I'm like, are you mint or are you a weed? Honey is so good for you, but I'm not a fan of the taste of honey. I do like agave. It's a little more neutral. I'm just and have never been a great fan of honey or of pure maple. Yeah, it's very sweet. Like I like blue agave. So I mean, yeah, which is basically tequila. I like that. Where's Claire when you need her? Claire is working at a market, I think today is what Claire's doing. Francis says my challenge for my spinning is to get 2 different finished yarns, one that has less than 18 wraps per inch and one that has more. Okay. Enigmata says with the tequila. No, blue agave is what they make tequila out of. So it's the distilled blue agave. So I just drink tequila by itself. Although in saying that, I don't mind ranch water, which is like tequila, soda water, and lime, and with a little like tiny spritz of salt in it. I can't bring that across, put it on screen, Kerry, because StreamYard doesn't let me. But Kerry has a members chat in saying, enjoying my big wool show purchase. Thanks. Oh, I'm glad. Ruth says that she loves the taste of honey. I like the taste of honey sometimes. I've got to be in the mood for it, honestly. Oh, it's out again. Grr. How is it out again? 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. There it is there. Oh my gosh. So you guys know I'm a tragic supernatural fan, right? Some of you may or may not know this. Tragic. And there's a new series called The Winchesters. And it's on CW Network in the US. And it's on Binge here in Australia. It's like the only streaming service I don't have. Also, I don't like Binge, so I don't want to pay for it. Except I'm missing out and I'm seeing all this amazing, great spoilers in my social media feeds. And I'm like, I want to watch it. And I'm so tempted to get Binge just for one show. But then I would hate myself. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's a tough call. But I'm missing out on what appears to be a really cool show. I do not have Foxtel. No, I'm not. I don't see the point in paying for Foxtel either. It's like, to get any decent networks, you've got to spend nearly $100 a month. And instead, for $100 a month, which we don't even spend half, we have Netflix. We have so Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Prime. I feel like there's something I'm missing. And yeah, we get so much for like half the price of Foxtel. Oh, I screwed it up again somehow. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Oh no, I didn't. I just can't see what I'm working on. It's all good. It's fine. Everything's okay. It is fixed. But I do have access to like free Binge for like a couple of weeks. And so, because like you used to get a free month with these things. Now you're lucky if you get free 7 days. Except the very last episode. Yeah, I don't know, Leanne. I understand that it's a weird thing. I avoid the last episode of shows if I can avoid it. Sometimes I'll watch like the last episode expecting there to be a next season and then realize later that it was cancelled or something. And then I've realized I've watched the end. But if I know a show's winding up and that this is the last season, I will very cautiously decide which of the final episodes I'm going to watch, because I'm quite often disappointed. And then also, then it's final. It's over. It's done. There's no more of that to see. And depending on the show, I get very attached to my shows. Depending on the show, I don't want that to be over. I don't want the journey to end. So, like, yeah, it makes me sad. I don't know. I watched Married at First Sight this year because Abby was like really into it, but I can't put myself through that again. I really can't. Francis says, I don't like Binge either. They've snaffled up all the latest seasons of my favorite shows. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Binge I don't like. Like, I really don't. I don't even know. Binge is, to me, it feels like Binge is owned by Foxtel for some reason. And I don't know if it is. Because I know they've got Foxtel and Foxtel Now. So I don't know if they do own Binge, but it just feels Foxtelly to me, which is an instant not interested. Watching the very last show means that it's really over. Yeah. Now, in saying that, I've been putting off watching the last season of Supernatural for years, right? I've not watched any of the last season. And now that there's a spin-off show, I'm going to need to watch the last season. Apparently, the Winchesters, you can watch it standalone, but I think you'll miss out on some stuff. Okay. We didn't even use all the yarn buff to get that done. These use such the smallest amount of yarn. Like if you've got just a little bit of a yarn left to go, this is totally worth having a go. Sal, is Haven on Apple TV? Because I get Apple every now and again because they have some fantastic sci-fi. Like Foundation was amazing. Like I don't mind giving Apple, a couple of months worth of money. I used to love Haven and Eureka. And what was the other one? Haven, Eureka, and there was a third one. Warehouse 13. Oh my gosh, I loved Warehouse 13 so much. Mel says that Binge is owned by Foxtel. There you go. Well, that's why it feels like it's owned by Foxtel. It's because it is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Warehouse 13. Love that show so much. I actually like you guys may or may not know this. I really don't cope well with crowds and big crowds and people like jostling me. But I made it to my first Comic-Con in Australia because the cast of Warehouse 13 were here. And it was terrifying for me. It was just so hard. I got your message, Emma. I may just say yes if that's okay. It was really difficult. So I was supposed to go with a friend. I've got a whole story. I was supposed to go with a friend and they were supposed to meet me there. And I got there really early so that I could be sort of at the front of the line. So there wasn't quite so many people squishing around me. And it was fine. I was fine. And I'm sort of standing there and I'm okay. And my friend hasn't turned up and they're not answering their messages. And I'm just standing in this queue that's growing. And then all of a sudden the organizers have yelled out to everybody to shuffle up. And basically, because they're like people sitting on the floor. And I mean, I was just standing there. You know how you make friends in the queues and stuff if you're standing there for ages. Anyway, I'm sort of sitting there or standing there. And then they're like, okay, everybody needs to shuffle up. We need to get both of these lines into one line. And it was just like, I'm like, what? Like, huh? And then these people around me must have seen the look on my face. And they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm really not. And like, everyone got crushed is what happened. Is they just squished everybody. Everyone was touching each other. Like this is very obviously pre-COVID. Okay. This is a long time ago. I actually think this might've been the first Comic-Con in Brisbane. So however long ago that was. And there was the cast from Warehouse 13 and there was Captain Kirk, whose name just will not come into my head. I can't think of his name, but I got a photo op. I did a photo op. Anyway, oh my gosh, my brain just went. My brain's now in like, okay, you were being crushed by all these people. You can't think of anything anymore. And this amazing woman was standing next to me, William Shatner. Thank you, Josephine. And it was this lady's just stood next to me that I'd been sort of chatting to her and her group of friends and about how my friend hadn't turned up yet. And because they're like, oh, have you come on your own? And I'm just like, I'm really not good with crowds. And they actually crushed themselves more just to give me a little bit of room, just so that I wasn't quite so crushed. And then I got moved to like the edge so that I wasn't quite in the middle. I was near the rope line, which gave me a little bit more room again. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this was so stressful. And then the first person that had a meet and greet was no, it was an autograph, and it was the lady who played Micah Baring from Warehouse 13. And I was like, the line they'd let us in, and the line just went, and it was crazy. And I went in, I got all my tokens and stuff, because you couldn't pre-buy your tokens then. And I've gone over to the line. I thought I must have gotten it wrong, because there was no one else in this line, and she was there. And I'm sort of still getting over like the line outside. So I'm not in a fantastic way. And anyway, I've got called over, and it's, you know, I picked a photo and she's autographing it for me. And she was just like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I really don't know if I am, to be honest. I'm really not good with crowds, and I've just been crushed by a crowd, and it's over now. But my brain isn't ready, is still saying it's happening. And I said, I've never been to one of these events before, and I just didn't cope with it. And I said, but I'm so glad I got to meet you, and we were just having this chat. And she was like, you know what? She goes, I don't cope with crowds either. And she's the only way I'm able to do this is with group photos with the rest of the cast, or like this, where there's a table. And then because there's no one behind me, we were able to stand there chatting for a little while. Like, I wasn't ushered on or anything like that. And we were talking about how, you know, when I do Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show, how I make sure that there is tables between me and everybody. And she was like, she was just awesome. And then she was like, so what else have you got planned for today? And I told her, you know, like these different sessions and stuff. She's like, we've got a photo this afternoon. And I'm like, yeah. I said, I may not make it. She goes, make it. I'm going to be looking out for you. Anyway, I'm in this line at the end of the day. I'm shattered and exhausted, but I had a fantastic day. Everything else went amazingly. It was just that initial crushing queue. And I'm in the line, and then I see her. She smiles at me, and then it's like she recognized me. She's spoken to the other cast, and then I get called over for my photo. And then all of a sudden, it's this big group conversation about, you know, coping with crowds, and you know, how she was so excited that I made it to the end of the day. And she was just really lovely. And so are the rest of the cast. I don't know what I'm even doing here. Look at this. 2, 2, 2. I've started doing row 3 at row 2. And yeah, but everyone was just like, that was so lovely and just so kind. And I've got this photo of me looking just terrified with them, because I just was like, you know, everyone, like all the cast were like, hey, you know, can I hug you? I'm so glad you made it through to the end of the day. And so I got hugs from everybody. And then we get this photo, and like the photo guy's like tapping his foot, like, come on, there's a lineup. But yeah, it was definitely one of those experiences that I'm so glad I had, even though I was just terrified of the crowd, and I really didn't cope well with that crowd. That I'm so glad that I made it, because it was so wonderful, and they were all so kind. And yeah, it was just, and you know what? William Shatner wasn't even the big happy memory, like the Warehouse 13 crew, totally the happy memory. So yeah. Long story. Sorry, guys. Very long story. Yeah, I think it was amazing too. Absolutely. And it was such an awesome experience. I agree. Deb, have an awesome day. I'll catch you later. I agree with you. It just makes you love the show even more, because it was such a wonderful experience. Yes. Game Widow says, I hate crowds. I don't go to concerts because of it. Yeah. And like, if I'm at a concert where there's assigned seating and stuff like that, I'm okay. But it's the traveling to and from, and the leaving the concert when everyone's leaving at the same time. I'm not good with that stuff. Makes the initial crowd experience worthwhile. And you know what? Even the people who are in the line, like, they were amazing. they were so kind and so understanding of this random woman who was way older than them having a freak out. Like I nearly had a panic attack. I started breathing weirdly, and I think that's when they realized there was an actual problem. But yeah, it was like everything that I thought was going to be the worst about it was not the worst. Rebecca says I also do not do crowds well. Yeah. Mel says it's a great story and definitely adds to the memories of the show. Absolutely. Yeah. There's so many reasons I don't like crowds. I don't like, my husband jokes about how big a personal space issue I have. Like when we're sitting on the couch, I have one couch, he has a different couch because otherwise he's in my personal space and I don't like it. So yeah, poor bloke. I don't know if he signed up for that, but that's what he got. My one concert success was assigned seating where I was in the last row, not too loud, no one behind me, and I could get out quick. Yeah. When I book tickets like theater and stuff like that, because I love theater so much, I do try to make sure that the ticket I have is either at the end of a row, and preferably near a door. Which sounds so bizarre, but that's what I like. I hate people resting their elbow on my shoulder. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Holly says I go to Comic-Con every year, and for the most part, the people that tend to go to be kind. Yes. I think it's a special kind of person that does Comic-Con. And I've been again since to Comic-Con. I tend to go to Supernovas, which are here in Australia more often than Comic-Con. But we just don't get the same sort of, like, I can't imagine Comic-Con in the US. Like Comic-Con in the big one with like Hall H and everything like that, I cannot imagine doing that. I certainly wouldn't be able to do it by myself. Oh, and my friend turned up 4 hours later. So yeah, I was just like, you knew that I wasn't going to go because I was terrified, and then you did that. Yeah, being 5'2" makes crowds very difficult. People don't see you and they're looking over your head. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Freaky says I see a crowd and turn around. Yeah. Like Abby has missed out on some sort of things. Like we didn't really go to the Ekka a lot. Like I braved it and gone a couple of times, which is the big annual show here in Brisbane. And we've taken her a couple of times, but we've never done the like every year we're going to the Ekka, blah, 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 because I can't deal with the crowds. I just can't. So sometimes Tim will take her places where there's big crowds so that she doesn't miss out, which I love that. I love that he does that because otherwise she would just miss out on so much. Leanne says, yes, same. We do seats just inside the entrance at QPAC. We saw Mary Poppins from the balcony, far right of the stage, and I felt okay in that spot. That's good. Yeah, Jackie, I think you're right. Oh, San Diego Comic-Con. It looks phenomenal. It looks so good. I watch as much as I can, and I really miss, I think we've mentioned this before, but there used to be, it doesn't run anymore. What's it called? Zachary Levi ran it. It was like an event off-site, but they get all the actors and stuff out for doing panels, and it was so much smaller scale, and it was, and I'd be like, you know what, I'd go, but I would have gone to that rather than to Comic-Con itself. What was it called? I can't remember. Does anyone remember the Zachary Levi? I'm gonna have to look it up. And the money that raised used to go to like Smile the charity. Nerd HQ, that was what it was. Holly, I knew you'd come to the party on that one. It was Nerd HQ. It was so amazing, but yeah, it ended up not being and cancelled because they couldn't get insurance or something. The insurance prices were going through the roof. But I loved that they live streamed everything. So I'd just be sitting here in Australia just watching all the live stream things. They've still got the YouTube channel and you can still watch all the old interviews and everything. And they're so fun. It was just so much fun. But yeah, I think I would have made the effort for Nerd HQ, but I wouldn't make the effort to get to San Diego for a Comic-Con. But it sounds amazing. It's just not. It's not for me. It's just not for me. So yeah. I'm just looking at the time. Wow. I totally lost track of time there. Rebecca says more than 5 people in a group. I tend to stay quiet and hide in the corner and just watch everyone else have fun. I actually enjoy watching people have fun. And I had a Christmas thing that I went to, and I was kind of hoping it was going to be a bigger crowd so I could do that and just sort of blend into the background. Turned out that the answer is no, it wasn't a bigger crowd. It was one single table of people, and people kept talking to me. And I was just like, okay, I don't actually know how I got an invite here, but I'm here now. So cool. Gamer Widow says that I've worked at PAX, won't go as an attendee, too many people, but the enforcers are very aware of people's issues and will support you. Oh, that's awesome to know as well. Holly says it was really hard to get into panels at Nerd HQ the last couple of years because it went from an event that a lot of people didn't know about to this, oh my God, this is actually better than Comic-Con event. And so, yeah, I can imagine that it would be. Mel says, I never missed the Nathan Fillion Nerd HQ live streams. Me either. Nathan Fillion is a gem. I have not caught a single episode of The Rookie, though, which makes me feel like a bad fan. But I'll get there. It's on my list of stuff. When I see it come up on a streaming service I actually have, I will watch it. Oh, I can't believe you actually went, Holly. I'm so jealous. It looked like to be such a fun event. I look at like all the supernatural like events that they do, and I desperately would love to go, but I also probably will never go. Kelly says The Rookie is good fun. I can imagine it would be, honestly. I can't imagine Nathan Fillion working on a show that wasn't fun. I've never seen him in something that I was just like, that was dull. I even watched him in Joss Whedon did a version of Much Ado About Nothing because I also really like Clark Gregg. So it had Nathan Fillion and Clark Gregg in it. So I'm like totally watching it, totally bought it on DVD. Total tragic. Oh, you got a photo with Nathan Fillion at Nerd HQ? Oh my gosh. Oh wow. That is amazing. I love it. I just love like hearing the actors when they talk because they're actually real people and they have like real people issues, which I just love. There we go. We got 5. I'll lift them up so that we can see them better. I'm going to drop us to this one. Go like this. We got to 5. Come on, camera. It's trying to focus on my face. There we go. So we got the white, the dark blue, the purple, the light purple, and then the Flinders blue cotton, which I actually quite like. Come on, camera. Don't focus on my face. Focus on the crochet. So there we go. But yeah, I'm melting in here, you guys. So I'm actually going to bounce a little bit early because it's so hot in here. I can't even tell you. Because this wall that I'm facing is full sun. What's the temperature outside right now? It's probably not awesome. The temperature right now is 33, feels like 35.5. So I don't know what that is for the Fahrenheities amongst us. Kelly, so fast to smash out. I made 6 for my mum for Mother's Day, for Christmas. I was sitting out on the couch and had them knocked over in about half an hour. So when, I'm focusing, they're really fast. They feel amazing. And they use so little yarn that you could totally do it with scraps. Now, I personally like cotton. I don't like a cotton blend. Like, I like 100% cotton. So if you've got some 100% cotton, you can use whatever hook suits it. Claire's using a H hook for her cotton. I like them to be a little bit tighter. So I was using a G, like a 4 mil. So love them, absolutely love them. And then when Abby was like, I want more of them, I'm like, oh, that will be so difficult. I'm so happy. Oh, thank you so much for joining the living today. I totally appreciate you guys jumping in. I know it was a little late notice. I threw it out there last night. But I'm so glad that you all joined in, and that that there were people who don't always get to join in who are able to join in because it's a public holiday here in Australia. That is awesome. Thank you for the live today and spending some time with us. Enjoy the rest of the day with your family. Thank you. Oh, someone popped in. 30 degrees is 86F. So I got to 35.4. Let me just check what that is before I run away. 35.4 C2F is 95.7. 95.7 in this room. It's probably hotter in this room. Excuse me, because there's no ventilation. It's horrible. Anyway, I will see you all later. Catch you in the fun zone. If not, next week. See you then. Bye for now.